All right, Kendall Race Theory Trader back with a very impromptu video. So, obviously, as we continue on this journey, I just wanted to see if the ATR indicator would help on lower time frames and let us know if it was worth it to take a trade or not. So, here's the deal. What I'm going to go through is candle threes on the upper and lower time frames to see if ATR is a helpful tool to see if it's worth taking a trade or not. So obviously here on the higher time frame, yeah, because the red line, which represents the ATR, is above the 20 period moving average, which means there's volatility in the trade. Okay, guys. So always remember this is not a trend indicator that I'm using. This is just an indicator to show that there could be big moves in the market. So this would have been on my radar by default on the 8 hour, but I wanted to see if using it on the 5 minute would also help. So let's take a look and see. Actually, let me go back and isolate the open price for 5 p.m. That's a 1700 candle. And we'll see if we can reach a conclusion together. Okay, so that's the open price for 5 p.m. So now on this candle, from the open onward, it did give, and we'll leave it on here. Obviously, you got some fair value gaps to the downside. The cross came right here. And I know that's kind of small, but if I make this a little bigger here, what happens is that when the red line crosses the green line, that means that there could be volatility in the trade. That happened at 650. Okay, so now if we take this back down, oh no, sorry, wrong window pane. Okay, we take that back down. So at 1050, I'm sorry, 650 is when it crossed. That was about right here. So yeah, with that volatility, that would have helped because obviously, as we see, the ATR did increase and it stayed above the SMA. So that would have been a good signal there. Let me make it a little bigger. There we go. So yeah, that would have been good. That did give us the ability to know, okay, there is volatility in this trade and this trade was worth taking. So that's good stuff. And that would have been good for, I know, definitely a 1-to-1 there, 20 pips. So that's good. Okay, so we'll get rid of that and get rid of all these drawings. I'm not going to go through all the pairs, just a few. I'm not expecting perfection, but I do want to see if there's something here. Because on the bigger time frame, I was obviously using it to see if candle 2, if it was worth it for candle 2. But now I want to see, like I said, on the lower time frame. So that's euro. Let's do one more euro. We'll do New Zealand. And okay, so this was a candle 3 right here. So we'll get the open price. This was, let me get out of the replay and get the whole week back up. I tell you what, we just did a euro, so let's do a different one. Let's do, what did I just do? Pound. Let's do, I'm in that one. Let's do pound CAD and see first off if there were any candle 3s. Now on this bigger time frame, we see here that the ATR is below the SMA, so that means not a lot of volatility. Okay, so let me, so let me see here. Let's see, 17, 1, 9, not quite. Not quite. There's nothing really that clean there, so we're gonna go to, let's try Aussie. Okay, this would have been a decent candle 3. Hold on, 1719. Yeah. Okay, so we got a range here with a kind of a false, not kind of, but a false breakout. So this would have counted as a short, in my mind at least, because this candle 2 is creating the high of the day. Let's see, on the higher time frame, the ATR is above the SMA, so that's good. So that'll tell me there's volatility there. So now let's go to the lower time frame and see what we can see. Let me isolate the open price, which was at 9 a.m. Now let's drop down to the 5 minute and see what it showed there. So okay, so this was the 9 a.m. open, and right at 9 a.m. we do see, flip everything out but that. One thing I'm finding as I use this volatility type deal, the moves are very since I've been using this, they're very aggressive, and sometimes I've been getting stopped out. Like say for instance, I mean, if a person added a couple positions here, like say you get in late at like say 9:45 or so, and you have like a what is this like a 15 pip stop loss, right? You might have got stopped out right there if you had a bigger take profit. Let's just say you were trying to like a 1 to 3, let's say, just hypothetically, right? This would have been a stop out. But another thing I found too is that as long as this candle 3 could be valid, just take the next fair value gap, which was right. It could have been right here, but either way, coming off this high volatility spike, yeah, because this right here is all you need to know. Hey, look, there could be a lot of strong moves in this trade once the ATR crosses above average. Like so, all that means is that there's more movement than average, so you could see some aggressive moves. So I like that. So that's good. So yeah, I'm starting to like the lower time frame ATR to help determine if a trade is worth taking or not. Because if there's no volume there, the pair is typically just going to chop around. So let's see. Let's try a yen pair. I'm glad I didn't take this one. I was all the way wrong. Um, but let's see if there's a decent candle 3. Yeah, this would have been one right here. I went the wrong way on it, but let's just take this one. Well, no. We'll mark this as the open right there. This is the range right here, though. Going long. I thought I was going to go short, but like I said, I was wrong. So there we go. Okay, like that. So on the bigger time frame, ATR was below. So may not have been my first choice, but let's see what the lower time frame gave for a 9. And let me isolate the open. Okay, I already did it. Okay, so that's our open price right there for 9 o'clock. And let's see what the ATR says. A lot of volatility already. Yeah, so I'm liking what I see when the pair opens, when candle 3 opens, or whatever you think could be candle 3 opens. If the ATR is already above the simple moving average, then that could definitely be a good sign because as we can see, it's already above average. So that's just exploded up. So yeah, that was good stuff. Um, so let's do one more and we'll call it. I'll do a little, just one more pair here. And again, this is 8-hour chart. So nah, I could do better. Nah, nah. I'm seeing some candle 3s, but just none that are all that interesting. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. Hold on. To the short side there. All right, yeah, we'll wrap it up with this one. Why not? So let's see. Well, actually, no, I'll wrap it up with one more. But anyway, so we go. This candle here created the high of the day. So you got this is 17, 1, and then 9. So the 9 a.m. candle did create the high of the day. So then we're expecting a straight drop for the 5 p.m. candle. So we'll mark the expansion open. And like I said, let's see when we drop down to the 5-minute if the ATR is already above the SMA. It doesn't look like it was. Now it was on the higher time frame, so if you want to take that, you can. And I'm not saying that it has to be above it to take it. It did come off of a higher move here, back here, but I'm more talking about real time because hindsight's obviously 2020. But by the time 5 p.m. opens, the first cross really doesn't come until right here at about 8 o'clock. So you know what? Yeah, that's fine. And again, I'm not saying this is necessarily an entry signal either. The best entry signal to me is still fair value gaps, but fair value gaps combined with the ATR could be a good combination. So there's our fair value gap right there. So let's see a short position. And let's say we're doing a 2020 like that. That would have hit no problem because we see that established gap. We could have took an entry even right there. And then let's see if the ATR lines up with that, with it being above the SMA. And it does look like it is right here. See how that red line, the ATR is above average. So yeah, that tells us that there could be some bigger moves here. So I would say this too, maybe possibly going for even a 1 to 2, or just feeling more confident in scaling in if the ATR is above the SMA. That gives you some extra confluence to let you know that a big move could be afoot for at least like a multiple of the ATR. I always remember that because the ATR here is, what is it, 4? Let me see, when it spiked up, it was about 7. So 7, 14. So 7, 14, 21, like 28, 4 times the ATR, right? Could have did that, something like that. So even like I said, 15 pip stop loss like that, and maybe a 28 pip take profit, some or 14 and 28 either way, it would have been like a 1 to 2, something like that. So but again, you play the ATR. The ATR is very helpful for just calculating what you want your risk reward to be. So a trade I'm in right now is actually off the daily candle 3 level for EuroCAD and Euro and Pound CAD. Sorry, yeah, these two. So as we see here, where's my line at? There it is. Okay, so as you see here on the daily chart, the oh, I'm sorry, the replay. I'm about to say, where's my stuff at? But there we go. All right. So as you see here on this daily chart, the ATR is above the SMA. Red line's above the green line, so I expect the volatility here and also here. And then when I drop to the lower time frame, right? Okay, ATR. Let me see. It was 9 o'clock. Let me go to that open. I'm just gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna designate the open price, and it already hit 1 to 1 as you can see. But I'm just gonna highlight the open price here, and let's see if the ATR was already above the SMA when it started, and it was, right. So we see here, so it's already above average. And so what happened as a result, or at least it let us know, okay, this pair is it's moving bigger than normal. And as you can see, I had a short bias on this. I got stopped out the first time I took it. It spiked up, and then as it started to form these gaps down, I'm still in it. It already hit 1 to 1, but because I started back testing this, I figured that the day was going to be short based off the candle range theory, that this day was going to be a red day. So that's the only reason I'm holding it beyond the take profit that I initially set, because it's still dropping. And same thing with EuroCAD. ATR was already above it at 9 right here. It's the open price there, right? So red line above the green line on the candles open. Big move up, but again, I had to wait for my trade to actually play out. The first fair value gap happened here, and it hasn't quite gone inside the gap just yet. So, we'll see on that one. I think a euro or pound CAD is doing a little better in that regard in terms of straight trend, because this is the CRT top. But at the end of the day, though, my point was that yeah, this pair is still moving above average, above its average. So definitely helpful to see volatility is the point. So yeah, using the ATR and the SMA on the lower time frame is definitely, as far as I can tell, helpful to let you know when some big moves could be afoot when it comes to candle 3. So, and if you want to throw that in as a filter to let you know, hey, look, if there's no volatility there for the most part based on what the ATR and SMA is giving you, either don't take the trade at all or set lower profit targets. So yeah, but I like this. I like this a lot. So we're definitely going to implement that. But yeah, that's my little experiment with that. Hope you got something out of it. Appreciate you watching, and take care.